Hi everyone, in today's video I'm going to do a deep dive on Canis Major Sirius. This is requested by one of my subscribers, Javier. So in this video I'm going to talk through all of his skills, my thoughts on him, and also some formation ideas of how you can utilize him to his advantage. So without further ado, let's go straight into it. Unlike normally when I start off with Ultimate, I'm actually going to start off with a different skill of Canis Major Series, which is First Strike. This, to me, is his signature skill because it grants all of your allies with a starting buff in terms of both attacking speed and also, most importantly, Cosmo. Cosmo is the most important aspect in any battle. You normally need 8,000 Cosmo in order for you to actually release your ultimate. So this ability to grant you 1200 Cosmo does help you. It gives you roughly about 15% boost at the start of the battle. And right now, with the way the meta is going, uh, whoever released their ultimate first have a huge advantage because you are potentially able to wipe out enemy and start the battle 5 against 4, etc. So that's very useful, and a lot of people kind of bring Canis Major purely for this ability. So definitely his best skill in my opinion. Then follow up with another very useful skill, Charge Up. This one basically grants a shield, um, and when that shield is still on, you're able to give yourself a buff in attack and defense. But what makes this really interesting is actually when the shield is broken, you're able to stun 3 enemies as a result. And that is actually very useful because then you have a ability which can't go wrong. If the shield is on, great, you have a buff. If the shield is broken, you're still able to do a lot of impact to the enemy. And this skill is get even more powerful in conjunction with his another skill, this trigger skill, which is Canis Major Perception, which basically says whenever an ally is under control, you're able to get rid of that and also grant him a shield through your charge up. So not only you're able to protect yourself, you're also able to protect your ally as a result. And this can eventually happen every 8 seconds, so quite frequent as well. So definitely very nice. And finally, we have his ultimate, which basically quite interesting is that it's targeted to the enemy with the highest HP, but also depending on how much Cosmo they have, you're able to stun them and also do more damage as a result. But this one is not so normally because this is targeting the enemy with a higher percentage of HP. A lot of times it could go either way. It could be end up targeting the enemy's protector knight because they're more defensively built, so they tend to have the highest HP. Or depending on the flow of the game, you could also end up targeting one of their back row because the front row protector knight end up taking off the normal attacks and therefore have a low HP. So it's very situational. What it can be helpful is that rather than turning into auto battle, you actually want to manually control the skill. So basically, you need to keep an eye out throughout this entire battle. Whenever an enemy have a lot of Cosmo and about to release their ultimate, you have a quick look to see whether they would have the highest HP percentage at that point. And if they do, then that will be great because then it works to your advantage. You release your ultimate to prevent them from releasing their ultimate because you will be stunning them, and because they're just about to release their ultimate, they would have roughly almost 8,000 Cosmo, so you are then able to really stun them for a really long time as well. And if that happened to be a main damage dealer, you are able to essentially stun them for a good 4, 5, 6 seconds of the battle, and that can be a huge advantage to help your allies to survive, and also while they're stunned, try to wipe out the enemy's damage dealer as soon as possible. So it can be very useful, but very situational. You may need to keep an eye out in the battle just to see and have a quick calculation to see who actually have the highest HP percentage at each time. Um, Now, one really nice thing about Canis Major Sirius is that he doesn't need to be very high level. You can actually build him very budgety because his most important skill, First Strike, is just a 1200 customer boost and attacking boost, regardless of your level, regardless of your stats. So that's very nice. And his other really useful skill, Charge Up, grants a shield yes, the shield is scaled based on how much attack you have. But like I said, when the shield is broken, you still have a really nice effect of stunning three enemies. So what you can actually do is have a really budget build of Sirius where you actually almost do a bit of a kamikaze. You send a really weak Canis Major Sirius so that his shield is also really weak. Purely for the fact that you want the shield to be broken as fast as possible so that you're able to stun three enemies as a result. So that's a very good way of building Sirius, and it's a very nice way for you to be able to have such a useful character to be built so budgetly. Now let's quickly move to his clothes. His first two clothes is related to his cosm to release sorry relating to his ultimate, which basically says the more cosmo the enemy has, you do more damage, etc. Um, like I said, his ultimate is okay, but very situational, and normally you do it more for his stun effect rather than how much damage he deals. So, it's definitely not that important in my opinion. The last two skills are quite interesting. It basically allows you to have a much longer lasting shield. Now, this really then ties back to how you want to build your Canis Major Sirius. If you actually want to build him budgetly, want his shield to be broken as fast as possible, then you don't need either of this either. However, if you're actually going more for another build where you actually are trying to have him as a main character, making him survive, and therefore actually want his shield to last longer, then of course you're free to do so. And then once again, that similar story with his constellation. His constellation is to do with his Canis Major Perception, so that's the skill to grant a shield to your ally. Um, at the first level, you're able to shorten that by an extra second. At the second, when you have all nine destiny points, you are able to shorten that by 2 seconds. But also, most importantly, it can now take effect on two allies. So once again, if you're going for the budget kamikaze route, you don't need either of this because you want the show to be broken as fast as possible. If you actually go for kind of the more serious builds, where you actually do want to uh, almost have Sirius as more of a supporting knight to grant shield to all of your allies, then ideally you do want all nine destiny points in order for you to unlock the full constellation. So really, Canis Major Series can be built in two different ways depending on how you feel like it. If you don't have a lot of resource, I would definitely recommend you go for the Kamikaze option. You're able to essentially still turn the tide of the battle purely through your starting Cosmo boost and also letting your show to be broken as fast as possible. But you can also go for the high investment option of having him more of as a support knight, granting all of the shield and dispel control effects on all of your allies. So that's also a very valid route to go down. It really depends on how much resource you want to invest in him. All right, now let's quickly move on to how you would like to build a formation around Canis Major Series. Now, like I said, Canis Major Series, a signature skill, I guess, in some sense, is that you are able to grant a starting Cosmo boost to everyone. So for that reason, you really want to have loads of characters who would be able to benefit from releasing ultimate as soon as possible. So one really classic example would be Sagittarius. Sagittarius is absolutely deadly once you release the first ultimate, and then you're able to kind of recharge his Cosmo up when he kills off enemy, and then go for the second one. So it's very important for Sagittarius to release his first ultimate as soon as possible, trying to take out an enemy. So that's why he is a very good pairing with Sirius. Another few good ones are obviously Evil Seiya. Evil Seiya, once he's released his ultimate, do massive damage to everyone. So that's also very useful. Death Mask is also another very useful character because essentially what you want to do is when remember, Sirius doesn't just give a Cosmo boost to just one ally. He's able to do that to all of your allies. So when you have essentially three or four people releasing ultimate all at once, there's a very high chance you're able to kill some people off. So as a result, when you have characters such as Deathmask or Leo who would benefit from having an enemy being killed off to grant yourself a buff. So that's the case for Leo. When enemy is killed off, you're able to grant an attacking buff to all of your allies. For Death Masters, when an enemy is killed off, you're able to absorb their customer and therefore able to release an ultimate straight away right afterward. So in either way, they benefit from the ability to kill off an enemy as soon as possible, and Sirius definitely helps you to do that, in the sense that you are able to let all of your allies trying to release their ultimate first, and very high chance of killing an enemy off as a result of that. So those are all very good options to pair up with Canis Major Sirius. Now, of course, for formation wise, you probably, if you do actually have Evil Sega, you probably want to go for the five different element knights instead. So you probably only want to keep one of Sagittarius or Leo. Either one is fine. And instead, what you want to bring in is a wind attribute knight. I'll probably recommend Libradoko because one, you need another protector knight up front, so that kind of limit you to either Misty or Libradoko. Libradoko grants an attacking buff and also critical buff to all of your allies, so that further increases your chance of actually wiping out enemy and really get the snowball effect rolling. So I said that would be a very good option. So this, in my head, is probably one of the best formation with Canis Major Sirius. So those five knights, you do have the option of either choosing Sagittarius or Leo. I probably go with Sagittarius because Sagittarius is more likely for you able to kill off one enemy, and even though both Leo and Decimus benefit from an enemy killed off, you really want to guarantee you're able to kill at least one person off. So Sagittarius is probably a better pick in my opinion. So this is probably the best formation idea for Canis Major Sirius. Um, this also works with the budget build because what you want is you want Sirius up front. So Sirius will be able to take a lot of hit, and once again, that helps with trying to make his shield goes off as soon as possible. Go for this kamikaze route, trying to make Canis Major shield to be broken so that you're able to stun enemy as a result. And this formation also works if you actually do a high investment version, because with a lot of high level Canis Major series, he's actually quite sturdy enough for you to actually put him up front as almost like a defender. So this works with either build of Canis Major series. Finally, I want to talk about another really interesting build purely for maps, because one thing Canis Major Series is really good for, obviously it's good in PvP for you to actually get an upper hand in the battles through of your cosmic, etc. But what makes him really useful is actually in your story mode in maps as well, because what he is able to do sometimes is the impossible. You Because of your ability to stun three enemy at once, and in map stages the enemy are so much higher level than you. This is absolutely amazing because first of all they're higher level than you, so they're able to break your shield really quickly. And second of all, when you are stunning them, you essentially give them a delay from releasing their ultimate, and because he already able to grant a starting Cosmo buff to of your allies, it helps you a lot of time to actually be able to get the first hit and on the enemy, and that is just so useful. There's so many different times. Even though if you actually look at me, I'm going for the budget version of Canis Major Series. My one's only 8 stars right now. So it's definitely not. I'm not spending a lot of resources on. Not because he's not a good character. He's a really good character. But like I said, you are able to go for budget version, which is kind of what I'm doing right now. So normally he is not in my first choice, but you can see I have loads of other knights of much higher level. So normally he's not what I put in my map stages, but he just is able to turn around for me so many different times because of this ability to stun the enemy and granting starting customer. So a lot of time, even though I am seriously unable to break through the map using my normal high level team, if I switch to Canis Major Sirius, and also another really good character you're able to do very budgetly is Canon. Those two budget option is able to help you to turn around so many different map stages. So this actually turns out to be something I do a lot of times. Even when I'm getting stuck, I just try around, use this formation instead. try a few times because it's quite situational depending on which enemies you're able to stun. But a lot of time, just after trying it 4 or 5 times, I'm then able to clear the stage straight away. So super useful in maps when when you're stuck in a bottleneck. Canis Major Series can definitely work wonders. So I highly recommend you, even if you don't have one trained up, the next time when you get stuck in the map, just bring him out, have a go at him. If you have cannon, then also obviously bring him as well. Also works in a budget version, and it may actually help you to break through your bottleneck and actually clear a few extra maps as a result. So definitely have a go. Candice Major Sirius, definitely a top tier character in my opinion. Works in every single situation, no matter how much you invest in him or whether you go for the budget route. So definitely keep one eye out on him and just use him whenever you can. It can create some miracles in my opinion. So definitely no one character to be ignored. Now, this is the end of the video today. Hope you like the content. Javier, I hope this answered all of your questions. And to everyone else, if you want to see any analysis in future, feel free to leave a comment in my down the video, and I will get back to you and respond to you and maybe create a video in response to your questions. Hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you and see you next time.